When I first moved up here, we moved up as a family, and to be quite honest, we did not know anything about the steelworks. Being young, we didn't follow the news or anything, so we didn't know that Consett steel was even here, let alone that the industry had died. So it wasn't until about 2 days before I was moving up that someone actually said, oh, that's where Consett steel was. And then I found out that it was a steelworks. But up until that point, I did not know. I mean, we just thought it was a very, very nice small town in the middle of a rural town, which appealed to us as a family. The reasons that we moved to the area was literally the rural location, and the fact that we'd been up here for a holiday, we'd met people, and the area was so friendly. And down south, everything was hustle and bustle. No one even said hello. I mean, we hadn't been here a day and people were saying hello in the street and asking us how we were, and we were quite shocked at first by it, but it was nice to know that people were interested to know who you were. And then we found out about the steelworks, and a couple of families who'd worked at the steelworks basically for the first couple of years looked after us and showed us round, showed us the sights, and it was just this very, very family-like community which we were totally unused to, and was very refreshing, which made the move, although it was difficult leaving family behind, we found this new family and it was really, really good. My art is inspired by nature and the environment around me, so I like to reflect that moment. I like to do abstract work based on that. The steelworks, I like the idea of the steelworks having gone, so I use that as an inspirational point, because I like science fiction, and the idea of steam and iron and all of that kind of imagery goes together. My inspiration for my paintings based on Consett and the steelworks, I'm trying to capture the power and the magnificence of the steel, and I'm inspired by the molten metal and all the colours of the heat, and I'm trying to get that in my paintings, be it even if I'm doing a figurative painting or if it's abstract based on the work. I just want that whole power thing of how Consett ruled the world. And also going back, I'm inspired also by the legend of how Consett was formed, because there's the tale of the 3 giants of Consett, and how they used to toss this giant hammer which created the valleys and the hills. How that ties into steelworks, I'm not exactly sure, but I just like that mythology of how Consett came about, and the fact that we've got sword making in Shotley Bridge, which is down the road, and then you've got all this whole thing of metal and power, and these men working all hours and in really difficult conditions. I mean, many of them lost their lives, if not limbs, while it was all being created. And it's just a whole mythological landscape that is just not here anymore. And I find it quite inspiring to create the work, and you can listen to people's tales, and then you can put in your own little stories and your own little bit of spin of the grittiness and the dirt and just that whole working atmosphere. But because it's gone and you can't see it, I mean, I didn't even witness it myself, so it's only through the stories that people tell me and photographs I see that I'm interpreting these feelings that they have into something that's 2D and representative on my level of not knowing what it was like to be there, but imagining what it to be, just that heat and knowing that it was you were creating steel that was going all over the world, and that, you know, you relied on for building bridges and ships and trains and railways, and the fact that it's gone, I just find it's got that poetry about it. It's quite romantic, but I would imagine to actually live here and work here would have been very, very hard indeed. Yeah, I think it's important for the heritage side to remember the heritage of the area through photographs, paintings and storytelling, because it is gone. I mean, you're onto a 3rd generation now who have been born, don't know anything about the steelworks, and unless someone actually tells them, they will never know, and they just think that Consett is just here for no apparent reason other than it's a satellite town that you commute to Newcastle, you can commute to Durham, but Consett was actually built here specifically for creating steel, and the whole country looked for their steel from Consett. In fact, the world looked to Consett, and I think that they need to know that. They need to discover that. For that Consett is just not an isolated little town. It was quite big in its day, and can still be big as long as it's remembered.